Hello and welcome to this episode of Living in Naperville. Today I have the pleasure of meeting with Dave Miller, the owner of The George, a brand new upscale restaurant here in the heart of downtown Naperville. Let's go inside, check it out, and see what it's all about. What makes The George stand out more than any other restaurant here in Naperville?
I think our atmosphere, for sure, and the different seating options.
Yep.
What I really like about the restaurant is you come in, whatever mood you're in, you have soft seating back here in the Pontiac lounge. You have a nice little intimate dining room by the fireplace. We have some really cool, like VIP, cozy booths.
Okay.
And then you have the bar that's a little more action-packed, a little louder. The music's a little more vivid. And then obviously when we have good weather here in Chicago area.
Sporadic.
Yeah, you have the patio then. You know, you can be outside, you can be in the sunshine, you can be out in the commotion and watching what's going on downtown Naperville. So I like all the seating options. I like that everything's cozy and comfy.
So how did you come up with the name, the Pontiac Room, for this amazing room?
So the Pontiac Lounge pays a little more homage to Naperville history.
Okay.
When the Burgess family had this way back in the late 50s, this back room wasn't here, but the front room was a gas station.
Yep,
And
I heard that.
on occasion in the old photos, you could see cars for sale because they would park a couple up front and put them on Washington. So you had the gas station and a couple of cars for sale. And in one of the original photos that I first saw, it was a photo that Bev Patterson had given Will Cullen, the other owner.
Okay.
And there was a 1967 GTO Pontiac parked in front. And Will and I looked at that and we're like, wow, the Pontiac Lounge would be a really cool name for back there. So and I'm a big Pontiac fan, so Pontiac Lounge it was.
I love that. That's very good. Very cool. And I love Bev. She's amazing. Dave, tell me about any of the George's signature dishes. What's your favorite?
Well, the best sellers since we've opened nearly every day is the George dip. So it's a classic French dip, very, very prime ingredients. We use rare prime rib, flat top griddled that, New York aged white cheddar cheese, the best French bread ever. And then we do like a really cool herbed au jus. And then it's absolutely fantastic.
And I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not saying this because I'm on camera, guys, but me and my dad used to eat prime rib French dip sandwiches, and that was the thing that I always remember my father for, is French dips. They were just absolutely my favorite.
I can boldly say it's probably the best sandwich in town.
We'll see.
Our homage to Mayor George Pradle is the Badge 13 burger.
Oh.
And that is a prime Sagal Farms dry aged double patty. We put it on a brioche potato bun and then we stamp it with
No way.
with a cast iron stamp with George Pradle's original badge from when he was the 13th police officer in Naperville.
Do you showcase that when it comes to the table?
Yes, it's on the bun and it's all etched in there.
Well done.
So the Badge 13 burger, it's got an onion bacon jam with a little bourbon and brown sugar in it.
That sounds
Insane.
amazing.
Our Thai curry mussels are very unusual. They kind of show that London-esque feel that the restaurant has.
Okay. I saw a salmon dish come out when we were getting ready for the interview. That looked delicious. Tell me a little bit about that.
We hand cut our own salmon, usually every morning or every other morning. Buy it in fresh Atlantic salmon. And we do a bourbon maple glaze over the top. So it's not too profound, just a nice little glaze over the top. Salmon sears in the oven for about 6 minutes. Serve it with French haricot vert green beans. And everybody loves the classic mashed potato.
Absolutely. Sounds like I'm gonna be making a couple stops over here. So Dave, when customers come in, what do they expect on their arrival?
Well, I think obviously it's the new place in town. They're going to expect, hopefully, to be wowed.
Yeah, okay.
I think what captivates them right off the bat when they come in is the ambiance, the warm, cozy feeling. In the wintertime, in the fall, when it's cold out, we have the fireplace, soft lighting.
Beautiful fireplace.
very comfortable furniture. We made it a point for our chairs, bar stools, couches, everything to be really cozy. In the summertime, people are going to beeline to the patio. They know there's going to be some music out there. We have the new pergola with the roof, so you can't get rained on. If the sun's out, we can block the sun. So I think just atmosphere, and then we mix a good drink. We're not trying to blow anyone's mind, but we just make good classic drinks. We have a phenomenal wine list. I think it's priced very, very, very well for the market that we have down here. We're trying to be a family restaurant, so bring the stroller in, or the teenagers or whatever. Drinks are very reasonably priced. I think the food options, it's a small menu. We're not trying to overdo the menu, but there's something for everyone. Our ticket times, we're getting food out fast.
Love that. People are hungry.
Yeah, 10, 12 minutes is kind of the max wait time.
Well, I'm looking forward for those summer months because you guys do have the best patio in town.
Yeah, I do like the patio.
Dave, tell me, the George, powerful name. What made you come up with the George? Love it.
Well, I'd have to say that Will and I's wives helped out a little bit with it.
Okay, tell me more.
We were on a ski trip in Big Sky, Montana, and we were in a place that looked very similar to this. And all our group kept saying is, wow, this is really beautiful. We love the touch points. We love the dark colors. We love the lighting. We love the fireplace. Wouldn't it be cool if we kind of mimicked this American, rustic, eclectic tavern environment? And so we had a really good idea of what we wanted to do decor-wise. Will's wife is literally like the best designer for the restaurants.
Okay.
And we started talking about names, and the George, as it turns out, is a very prominent name in Naperville's history for the Georges that accomplished certain things in Naperville's historical background. We started with George Mayor Pradle, who obviously was our 20-year mayor. George Pradle was
an amazing man.
Loved him. Everybody in town.
Everybody loved him.
Everybody loved him, and that's why we have the George Pradle Badge 13 burger. And so we loved that George. And as we dug deeper with the Naperville Historical Society, we started finding out that George Knock, who Knock Park is named after. George
Didn't
Knock,
know that. Didn't know that. Okay.
He was very prominent in Naperville's political scene and ended up moving that further down the road in his career. George Martin, they had the Martin Mitchell Mansion.
Okay.
And they were the one.
That's not Mesa and Sabika, is it?
Across the street.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
That mansion at Napier Settlement was George Martin's mansion, and
yep, you're right.
They made their fortune digging limestone out of the Naperville area to build after the Chicago fire. So very cool, George Martin. And then George Laird.
There's 4 Georges.
Yes.
Or is there more?
4 that we, I suppose we have a few more in town. We actually considered having like an annual George Day where, bring in your favorite George and we'll buy him a beer or something.
Like it.
So anyway, George Laird, he was the one who back in the day built the Preemption House. So Naperville had its first brewery, the Stenger Brewery. And when you have a brewery, well, now you need a tavern. And usually if you have a tavern, you need a hotel.
Yep.
So George Laird built the Preemption House as travelers coming east of the Mississippi could stop. They could have a beer, they could have a room, they could have a meal.
On their way to Chicago.
And I believe that the Preemption House was Naperville's very first piece of hospitality.
It was, actually.
And I don't know, I think Will and I and the wives really loved hearing more of that story. And it matched our decor, and we kind of looked at everybody at the table that night and said, the George.
I think that's well done, Dave. Well done. So, thank you for sharing the story, and thank you for your time today.
Yes, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you for watching this episode of Living in Naperville. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to have a drink on me, direct message me. We'll see you around town.